5 books to read over Christmas or to buy as a last-minute digital present. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's talk about 5 books you can read over Christmas. It's Christmas Eve here in Australia. We're preparing for our vigil mass and the nativity play that the kids are going to be in tonight at church. So it's, time for all of us blokes particularly to do Christmas shopping. That now's the day to do it, Christmas Eve, isn't that how it goes? So I thought I'd just share 5 books that I've been reading over the period or have read in the past that I think would make a interesting present or just something good for you to read over the Christmas holidays. You know, when you're at family, you've eaten the Christmas feast and you want to lay down on the couch there and start reading and then fall into a nice long nap. That's exactly what I've got planned myself, guys. So let's have a look at this. 5 books to read over Christmas or to buy as a last-minute present. And, I mean, last-minute present is pretty much going to be a Kindle digital present. And I'll have links to the Amazon entries if you want to support the channel below, guys. So the first book. Not all fairy tales have happy endings. The Rise and Fall of Sierra Online, written by Ken Williams, the former CEO, founder of Sierra Online. Now, I am a adventure game fan. I grew up with these Sierra games with Space Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, King's Quest, all of this stuff. Police Quest I really enjoyed as a kid. And I've been following the space venture utter disaster. I didn't kickstart it. I didn't back it. I was thought after, the Planetary Annihilation one I kickstarted that went nowhere. I thought, I'll wait for it to come on Steam. Won't take that long. A decade later. So it gives really some interesting insights into just the man behind this company who started it up. And one of the good things I really like about Ken and his wife Roberta, they're still married. They're still together. And they've got some quite nice stories going through the book. So this makes a great read. And for anyone who's a fan of Sierra, it's definitely a book you should have a look at. It gives you some insight into a company that really was cutting edge back in the day, but just it all friddled away, disappeared. What's interesting is in some of the interviews that Ken has given years later, because they're going back, they're making game dev again. They went off and toured the world in their boat, and now they're making Colossal Cave Adventures 3D. How Roberta was saying, because he's looking at Unity now to make games, Roberta was saying, we should have kept the game engine. Because they had their SCI engine. They had a fantastic engine for making games really quick. And looking back at what happened at Space Venture, you can see now how particularly Scott Adams, who was a programmer on that engine, was just a kind of a scripter on that engine. He couldn't adapt the skills to any other programming thing. So that was quite interesting. They had a really useful tool there. So a must-read for any Sierra fan. If you have any friends or family that used to play these old games, that definitely would be a book that they would enjoy. So I'd highly recommend that one. And that's one I'm steadily working through. I even got a paperback copy of it, going old school. I probably should have got the Kindle one because it's just more convenient, guys. So the next book, A Pattern Language, Towns, Buildings, Construction. This is a whole series of books and written by Christopher Alexander. It's a book of design patterns from how to position a column in a balcony, or how to design a room, essentially how to design a house from all the small individual elements right up to designing a town or a region. It goes from micro scale through to macro scale. Now, all the things that we're hearing in the media now about these 15-minute cities, all of this stuff, this is just decades old town planning theories. It's about having more livable cities, walkable cities, where you design things for a human scale, human ability to walk around, not drive around. Because it's more pleasant. It has a better psychological impact. One of the things I like in this book, which we're actually doing, because this I read through university, it's a great gift for any architect or student of architecture, is the whole bringing the kids into the workplace, learning in the work environment. That was one of the patterns there, where the children are all about, they can see people working. Here in the pattern, it was more to do with craft manufacturing, But we've been doing that in our architectural practice too, with having just the kids around, with homeschooling, working from home. It's a different lifestyle. So this is a book, even if you're not an architect or you're not a designer, it definitely would be worth a good read. And I noticed you can rent it from Amazon. You can, for some strange reason. The full text is available online somewhere. You can find it there, but it's definitely worth getting your hands on the book if you can. I know here in Brisbane we've got the Book Fest coming up again. That'd be where I'd be going to look for some of these older books, and they wouldn't go cheap there because this one's particularly a good book. So definitely one perfect gift for an architect or a new student. If someone's just gotten their QTAC or whatever results in and have been accepted into architecture school at a university, give them this book. Perfect gift. The next one, The Bullet Journal Method, written by Ryder Carroll. So this is a fantastic introduction to the bullet journal method. And I've been giving it a good shot the last year, and it's an analog way of tracking your and time management and filtering what tasks you have to do. It can get quite overwhelming with all the stuff people have going on, particularly, as an architect, I've got my personal life, I've got my YouTube channel. I make the rule with Rachel: if it's not in Outlook, it doesn't exist. I can't get in trouble for not knowing something's happening if it's not in my Outlook. That's the rule. And this is a great way. I really enjoy this method because I've got a bullet journal. I journal down everything I need to do and track stuff because it's analog. It gets me away from the screens. I've got 4 screens in front of me here. At the other house, I've got a computer with 2 screens. So I'm always working. And behind me here, I've got another 3 screens on that computer. So I'm always, working on screens, drafting, designing, even planning stuff, writing stuff out, even recording the videos. It's all in front of screens. So having a method for time management and tracking where I will take the book, I'll sit at the same desk, I'll turn off the screens, and I'll be there, tracking with pencils and pen. It's quite relaxing, particularly having a planning for the whole week. What you do is you kind of plan out the whole year, then you plan out months, then you plan out the week. So it's fantastic. And because of this, this is probably the first year where I've gotten onto my BAS faster than ever before. So there you go, guys. There you go. Recommend it. I'm working through this one now. I bought the Kindle version. I should have bought the paper one. Another book, and this is one I would have recommended before. This is the Daily Stoic, written by Ryan Holiday. It's an introduction to Stoicism, and it's useful for developing daily habits. You've got one little snippet from a whole range of different Stoic authors that you can read every day, and then Ryan puts his own element on top of that. Fantastic book, great way to get into daily habits and an introduction to Stoicism. I would wish this should be mandatory reading in all schools. I think a lot of our problems would disappear if many more people adopted this philosophy. It should be mandatory reading for all men, honestly, because the world doesn't give a shit about you. Okay, that's the harsh reality, guys. You got to deal with it. The faster you do, the better. So this one I highly recommend. It's a good book, a good gift as well. And now the last book with our top. Is it top 5? Just 5. 5 examples. 5 books I've been chipping away at or have read in the past, at least in the last year. Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion. Now, written by Robert B. Cialdini. This is a fantastic book. It's considered a classic. He's written new books as well, but this is the first one. It'll teach you why, and you'll learn why people say yes to things, how people are manipulated, how marketing companies manipulate people or persuade people. And it's definitely well worth a read. A fantastic gift for someone who's interested in that. If you're concerned why so many people are falling for so much stuff, or social media is having such an influence, or why marketing is done in a particular way, this is a fantastic book. I was introduced to it years ago with Scott Adams' Persuasion reading list. This is one of the books on there, and I devoured this. It was really, really insightful. And when I was reading this, I'm realizing how former clients that we'd worked with that were treating us like shit, one in particular, how he was using these techniques to manipulate us, or to manipulate me, to issue some stuff when he hadn't paid me. So I thought that was quite interesting now that I saw, wait a minute, that's the trick he was trying to use here. So, I mean, this won't make you immune to these techniques, but at least you'll be aware of it, and you'll start to realize when people are starting to do this stuff. So, guys, those are my 5 books, recommendations for Christmas presents or last minute. We'll go through them again. Not All Fairy Tales Have Happy Endings, The Rise and Fall of Sierra Online by Ken Williams. Fantastic book. Definitely a buy for any Sierra fan that you know. Probably a bit late. I'd recommend the hardcover copy for this one. Maybe give them a voucher or tell them you're buying them the book. If you know anyone that loves these games, if they're a Space Quest fan, a Police Quest fan, a King's Quest fan, get them this book. It's good. And even if you're just interested in business, just hearing Ken's story, his just get out there and teach yourself attitude. It's fantastic. Then we have A Pattern Language, perfect gift for any architect or student of architecture or just anyone interested in design. Definitely highly recommended. You can find the content of it online too, but the physical book is really good. I've got to find my copy. It's somewhere around the bookcase behind me. I literally have bags of concrete and tools in front of my bookshelf. I can't even get to it. The Bullet Journal Method, fantastic book, but be warned, if people start getting into the bullet journaling thing, you're going to start having extra. Well, no, I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. A bad thing is they're going to spend money on bullet journals and stencils and pens and stickers. But the good thing is you can then buy them, bullet journals and pens and stickers, as easy presents. You don't need to think hard if you get them addicted to this stuff. I remember one viewer was going, I don't know what it is, but I know my wife spends a shitload of money on it. So better that than something else. I mean, the girls get really, they make them all pretty and do unicorns and color shit in. I'm coloring in to track stuff, hexagon. That's pretty much how I'm doing it. Different ways to do it. The Daily Stoic, fantastic book, introduction to the philosophy of Stoicism. Definitely should be read by everyone. Influence. Well, what more can we say? We're all being influenced all the time. It's a little concerning once you read this and you see what's going on, but worth reading. And there you go. Oh, and that's the slide from yesterday's video that we're not talking about today. So I'll just sum it up. I'll jump over here. Guys, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll record a special video for tomorrow. I hope you have a relaxing and safe holiday. One of the things that is always a concern is driving. Okay, we're all going to be driving, or most of us will be driving a lot over this period if we're going to visit family. Drive slow, take time. Don't be afraid to just pull over and have a nap. Have a nap on the side of the road. Screw it, do it. Rather than just pushing through. It's better to do that than to have an accident. Because that's the big issue now. That really is the big issue this time of year. I know, particularly when I'm visiting family in more rural areas, I get worried driving at night. It can get dangerous. You want to just take it slow and be sensible. That's the one piece of advice I can give you. Do they still have those driver reviver things where you get the Kit Kats and stuff? I think they got rid of the Kit Kats there. But I mean, if you're on a carnivore keto diet, and you want to break and be naughty and have a chocolate or something, that's the time to do it when you're driving. And you need to have a bit of a break. Go stop, have a coffee, spoil yourself with a treat, and be safe, guys. Anyway, take care, have a great day, and I will see you. Hang on. I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Let me know what you think of those books if you've read any of them, and any recommendations you have for people. If you want to check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, that'd be most appreciated. If you want to support us, you can financially on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links. If you want to buy any of these books, use the Amazon referral link. I get a kickback. It's not much, but it adds up over the year. Guys, it adds up over the year. Why not? You probably help them pay for swimming lessons for my children, which, frankly, is something we will never compromise on. No matter how tough times get, that's something you got to pay for. That's because now You know, if you're in a tough situation, you've got kids, you've got to think of where you save money. I'd cut back on other things because now we've got them where they can go in the pool themselves. It's much less stress. That's the other big worry this time of year too, here in Queensland, or in all of Australia. You can buy our pocket squares or call us if you need an architect, everyone. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.